Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to Raising Excellence. I'm Michael, the MC and Opportunity Ambassador for today's show. And today's show's topic is in regard to meeting the people of Raising Excellence. Today's subject matter is Dennis Eckert. And Dennis is with us today. Hello, Dennis.
Greetings and
Welcome.
blessed love, everyone.
Dennis, by the way, is the Freedom Facilitator. And also with us is our other co-host, Agnieszka, the Illuminator.
Nice to be here. Lovely to be interviewing the excellent Dennis.
So this is actually a series where you're going to meet each one of us individually, and we're going to answer a couple of questions, actually 7 questions. The first of those questions is, Dennis, what are you excellent at?
Wow, what am I excellent at? I'm throwing it at a slide right at you right now. I feel I'm excellent at teaching children, teaching especially, but children is kind of like what has become a specialty of mine. I've been teaching them capoeira especially, and Afro-Brazilian martial art, and also permaculture and a bunch of other things. But teaching is one of the things I'm excellent at. Also, I have the ability of bringing humor to serious situations, and I think I'm excellent at that. And I motivate transformation in others, hopefully myself as well. And I'm feeling I'm in continuous movement and transforming myself, and hopefully, in the direction of excellence all the while. And that's something I pride myself that I have the ability to impact others and to help them to transform their lives for the better. And so I'm doing that through my consultancies, but also through capoeira and permaculture. I'm also excellent at finding solutions inside or within problems. So an example for that would be the work that I did for close to 15 years in Jamaica, where I didn't only teach capoeira to children and youth from inner cities and in prisons, but also I did environmental projects where I taught myself first and then others how to transform solid waste materials like old car and truck tires into projects like actually I built a house, a small earthship with it, and we did flower spots with it, we did bird hangers and community gardens, and so that was really exciting for myself, and it was exciting for many others as well. It seemed to be able to not look at the garbage and the solid waste that's oftentimes at the roadside, but actually to see it as an opportunity and to see that within this bunch of old tires there's actually the opportunity of building something that I could earn a living with, or that I could transform my community, or that I could actually build a self-sustainable house that protects me, gives me shelter, and even provides food, water and electricity. So those are some of the things I feel I'm excellent in. And
Well,
what
Dennis,
else?
I was just going to interject. I
Sure.
think there's certainly something you're excellent at that I'll take note of, didn't mention, and that is giving good advice, listening and giving good advice. But Agnieszka's got your second question.
Hold on a second, I have 2 more on the list. So I thank you for that, Mike.
I was going to add one more too.
Wow, it's getting crowded in here. So Agnieszka, throw out yours because I'm excited to hear about that.
I think that you have a huge heart, and you every time if there's a problem with somebody, or if somebody has some kind of a challenge within themselves, you can always provide me like a soft pillow to land on. I just love the feeling of love and acceptance that I receive when I ask you for advice.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. It's amazing.
So what are your 2?
The last 2 I had here on this list, which I threw out on the slide as well, is connecting and uniting freedom-loving people. So I love freedom, and I feel that I'm on a journey of liberating myself, in this lifetime. And so it's very joyous to me to find other people and to connect to them, and whether it's as friends or as clients or teaching them in some kind of way. I'd love to connect, and I'd love to facilitate others who love freedom and who know the value of freedom and liberty in their lives. I enjoy connecting people of that mindset, and while doing that I also enjoy facilitating peace. And that's really, what I wrote on my flag many years ago. Capoeira for Peace was one of the main projects that I inspired in Jamaica. And so I carry that deep within because that's something I long for, and I feel we all have that deep within ourselves, and therefore we can also bring it up within ourselves and also, within each other. Basically, the best side and the peaceful and joyous side of life that we can, inspire in others and live it and lead by example, so to say.
Oh, and by the way, you also have excellent hair.
It's growing. It has been for a while.
That's
Thank you.
right. So, what obstacles did you encounter along the way toward all this excellence?
Oh, quite a few. Quite a few. Shall I name the physical ones?
Other than being robbed in Brazil, which is in your face reading video on Raising Excellence Archive?
Oh yeah, that was a big one too. There was a few within the physical realms of life that, and they continue to pop, and I feel that's part of life, obstacles. They continue to come on different ways and different levels, and some are on the emotional side, some are on the, physicality of us, some are mental as well, and on the spiritual realms as well. And I feel above all we're spiritual beings, so we are here to encounter those obstacles, and obstacles are really just opportunities, right, to grow. So I see them as that, and I urge myself to see any obstacle as an opportunity for growth and to overcome it and to learn and to grow. And not that obstacles ever will stop coming, but I have the opportunity to get better at overcoming them, and not being shaken up by every little obstacle, to a degree that seems to be too unrooting me from the bottom up. And one of the obstacles that stood out for me, and I hope it doesn't stand out again, is I have good endurance and perseverance, but that can sometimes lead to stubbornness. So say some. And so if I have an idea and I put my mind on it, then I'm very good at persevering at it, and sometimes I'm not that good at listening to the advice of others, which might be really helpful, and give me a perspective that is more helpful than the idea that I might be really persevering on sometimes for years. And and I also, and this obstacle of the insight that I don't have to work hard to work smart. And because I have the ability to work hard, that doesn't mean that it's always the best thing to do that. So those have been obstacles that I have encountered, and I do hope that I'm progressing well on overcoming those, and looking forward to the next ones. Do you see any obstacles?
Well, the other day when you were talking about obstacles, you had this beautiful analogy about being out in the peaceful ocean. And that really touched me on a deep level when you said, you want to be like the deep water that's down underneath the ocean, not like the surface, which is all turmoil.
Yeah. So the obstacles, I want to retain the ability of being conscious within the depth of the ocean. So, there is waves, and there's probably always going to be waves, and sometimes there are storms on the surface, but the depth of the sea is not really touched by those. So, I recognize that I am also the sea that's being shaken up at the surface, and the waves are there, but there's a much larger, and maybe the largest part of myself, which is actually untouched by those. So if I'm conscious of that huge part that I truly am, then I still can experience the waves on the surface, but I won't be the greatest, the biggest part of me won't be shaken by that.
So glad
you mentioned some obstacles, but what is the ultimate source of those obstacles or problems in your mind?
The source of those obstacles, going deep, we have the picture of the ocean again, going deep to the source of those is, for me, it's probably trying to focus on too many things at the same time, because I have a very active mind and I'm interested in many different things. I mentioned, I think, the permaculture is a big thing for me, permaculture design especially, then a capoeira, then a holistic view at life, a spiritual perspective on life. I'm a personal trainer as well. I love nutrition, so I have been guiding people from a nutritional point of view as well. And those are all huge areas, and I have the ability to dig deep and to find sources and information, and to dig them up and put them together. And I've been doing that for myself and for others. And but it's easy, to not conclude, on some areas, or to not be able to taste the food out of some of the pots that I have on the stove because it's just so many. So the source has been for those obstacles was that I sometimes haven't been able to focus on the one thing that I have to deal with right here and right now, and to finish it and then move on. And I feel one of the sources also was that I let adverse circumstances and sometimes difficult people also influence myself to a degree that that brought about a certain scarcity mindset. So overcoming that, I feel, is a big step for myself, because I have been I introduced myself in, traveling in environments and also to people, that were difficult in some ways, and to retain the ability to to set my boundaries and borders. That was important for me, and the lessons from that was also that I very carefully choose the people that I work with and for today, whether it's as a doing online consultancies, or as a capoeira coach, or as a permaculture designer. So I choose carefully whom I work with, so I can also ensure that I actually have the ability and possibility to help them and to solve their problems, but also that they're actually coming from a right angle, and that they're actually willing to do their part of the work in order for both of us to be successful.
Next question. How did you overcome this?
How did I overcome this? I feel by basically improving knowledge of myself. I feel that's what I'm here for, to truly know and find out who I am, and the struggles, the obstacles that I have been facing and that I surely continue to face on different levels. I think they're overcome by realizing who I truly am, and and in that be conscious of who I am and see that which I am in others as well, and actually in the world around me.
All right, so the next question, you did speak about working with others. How do you motivate others to raise their excellence?
How do I motivate others to raise their excellence? First of all, I feel I motivate others by who I am, by the way how I walk, how I talk, how I work, how I interact with my children, how I spend time, how I go about my daily business. I feel this is the most powerful way how I can impact the lives of others and inspire others as well, by setting an example. And if others can feel inspired by how I approach life, by how I don't know, how I play capoeira, by how I design a garden or a landscape, then I feel this is certainly the most powerful way how I can impact and motivate others, to strive for their best and for their individual excellence in life. And then, of course, if they feel that I have something, a skill or experience or a perspective that can help them on their personal journey, then I'm more than happy to share that and to facilitate their own growth as well. I don't want to tell somebody what to do, but I want to live and act and speak and talk and walk in a way that others feel inspired and that they can look up to. And especially working in Jamaica in the inner cities, I perceive that for many of the youths that I've been working with, there was a lack of a positive male role model in their lives. So oftentimes the fathers would have been absent, and that put me really in a position of a lot of responsibility, because I thought, well, if there's really not many men around that that can motivate those youths, those children, to grow up and to make the proper decisions for their lives, and there's 10, 20, 30, sometimes 40 or 50 youths that are with me, children, and they're looking up at me and they're looking at everything I'm doing. They're looking at the way I'm talking. They're looking at, I don't know, like how I drink my water. They're looking at how I engage with the prison supervisor. They're looking at me like how I step out of the car, or even what car I drive, and what I tell them and what I teach them, and every little nuance of what I was passing on, the movements that I did and why, and would I go down at their level and talk to them, or would I talk down to them, and even the tonality of my voice, the way I expressed myself. So that made me really take a step back and say, wow, I have to really be aware and conscious of how I express myself and of what I do, what I talk, what I say, and how I give myself, because they are soaking up this stuff like a sponge. And and it was my desire to really help them in life and to make a difference in their lives with anything that I could express or that I would have learned or adapted in my life. And yeah, so I really think it is through who I am, through the through the person, through the human that I am, that I seek to inspire others. Not through words or through telling them something or through book knowledge, but through the experience and life skills that I have gathered so far.
So the next question is, what are the daily habits that keep you excellent?
My daily habits. Wow, I would say I am somebody who is not in terms of a routine, a set routine that I have. I wouldn't say I have that, but habits and things that I do on a daily basis and that I'm working hard on making it part of my life, and it has become that, yes. So I would say overall it is mostly being able to see divine and to seeing the true nature of who we are in everything. And I'm somebody, so if I'm in a conversation with you, or if I perceive others, or if I um, if I'm in nature out in the forest, I feel that I'm surrounded by that which we truly are, and by infinity, which is expressing itself through me, through you, through all of us. And it is it brings joy to me that that notion that we are holistic beings, so that we are, I'm a physical being, I'm flesh and bones. I also have emotions. So I'm an emotional being. I'm a mental, psychological being, and I'm also a spiritual being. And so I would like to honor all of those aspects of our lives. And um, it is really the habit of being conscious of that, which I can see myself flowing in every day. And so this is also continuous work, and I feel like I have been getting better at it. And I think this is something that sometimes helps others as well, because it often gives me the opportunity to reflect a perspective on themselves that leads them to see things from a new angle. And from, in capoeira, I would do a cartwheel, and a situation that looks kind of hopeless will look different, and the approach will be a different one, because I see everything upside down. And so yeah, it's like a capoeira cartwheel. It's like moving around in the capoeira circle, and by moving around, you change perspectives. You see the same thing from a different side, and it gives you new opportunities of interacting and of continuing within the flow of the game that we all are playing here in this life.
Okay, the final question. How are you benefiting humanity, Dennis?
I feel I'm benefiting humanity by striving continuously to be a blessing to creation, to sharing my skills and experiences through holistic life coaching, capoeira, and permaculture.
Sounds
So
like you just read that.
I actually did, and I'm giving it to you on a slide as well. Um, Holistic life coaching, that is really what I call the consultancies that I'm offering through my website, or in person. And just like I expressed before, I feel we are holistic beings, and therefore we need a holistic approach as well. And as much as I can, I will help people on the physical level, whether as a personal trainer, as a fitness trainer, with nutritional advice, natural supplements if need be. I'm very much interested in natural healing as well. And just the abundance that nature offers us to keep our physicality in balance, and to be at our best on the physical level and on all levels as well. And yeah, so the other big thing that stood out and has been standing out in my life is permaculture design. So that is something also I teach. I help people to develop their gardens, landscapes. As I mentioned before, I have been building a little airship in Jamaica. So that was a great experience for myself, and for others as well who joined into that project. And then of course capoeira, also this Afro-Brazilian martial art, with a philosophy of freedom and liberation at its heart, is something really that it brings it together for me, that this idea, this notion of freedom is at the heart of, for me, at the heart of capoeira, of permaculture, of a holistic view at life. And I feel this is the red string that pulls through everything, that really touches me deeply. And if I can help anyone in any of those areas to improve their life experience, then I'll be very glad to do so, because I kind of identify myself by through helping others as well, or that's one of my basic motivations. and it brings me tremendous joy and happiness if I can see that I have positively impacted your life through anything that I do, say, or put out there.
Absolutely. I can definitely attest to that, Dennis. You've definitely affected my life in a positive, beneficial way. And I definitely am grateful to be involved with you in this Raising Excellence project. How about you?
Absolutely. Dennis is amazing, and I'm a big fan. So let's keep working together.
Give thanks for that. Many blessings. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you for facilitating this and throwing it out. I'm looking forward to the next 2 episodes of this and to get to know you better, Agnieszka, and also you, Mike. And I'm excited, what's up next.
Thank you for sharing your heart with us.
Yeah, and we'll be sharing this each week or each Wednesday, and look forward to that Wednesday afternoon. I'm not exactly sure what time it's going to come out, but hopefully it's a regular time. We'll see you then.